Hey, y'all. We be back.
Yeah, we're back.
You're back.
Hey, we're back.
And so happy Labor Day. So we'll be on the air in just a couple of minutes. Fox News break is coming up in about a minute or so. So hang in there for that. Then it'll be our turn. So hang in there. I'll tell you all about one hurricane, one tropical storm, and
No.
something else.
Something else?
Yep.
Uh-uh.
There's the third X on the big old charts out there.
I haven't seen it this morning.
All right.
Mm.
Be right back. Don't go away. Good morning, Jacksonville. I'm Rayford Brown, and I'm back.
I am so happy you're back. We
Appreciate that.
missed you here.
And you are?
And I am Lee Barrows.
Like I didn't know that, huh?
Yes.
Happy Monday to everybody, and happy
Yes.
Labor Day
Happy
to everybody,
Labor
too.
Day.
Well, it is a holiday,
Yes, it is.
the traditional end of the summer season, except where the temperatures are concerned. It's back to school time. How much do you actually know about this day?
Well, I know that it's an American federal holiday for all workers to
Mhm.
honor and recognize American labor
Yep.
movement.
In the late 1880s, during the Industrial Revolution in this country, Americans worked an average of 12 hours a day, 6 and 7 days every week.
I believe that.
Even 5 and 6-year-old children worked in mills,
Mm.
mines, and factories. Not for the same wages, of course, as the adult workers. Something had to be done. Efforts to unionize labor forces were off and running. It was on this, the 5th of September, happened to be on this same date, the year was 1882, when 10,000 workers marched from City Hall to Union Square in New York City, taking an unpaid day off. This became known as the first Labor Day Parade.
Mm.
The day is to honor the workers, the ones who keep this country going. It was also the beginning of efforts to provide safety to those workers and eliminate child labor, sweatshops, and a lot more. Today, unfortunately, we will see people celebrating this day while collecting handouts and bailouts from actually hardworking Americans, people sitting on their butts doing nothing, but they go out and celebrate this day as though they had earned the right to do so.
Very valid point. They're at home having
It's-
barbecues and
if you-
parties and
If you didn't think this was going to be some editorial on my part,
yeah, we missed your editorials. I knew to expect one this morning
if
because
you happen to see any of the bums while you're celebrating today, perhaps at the beach, make sure to point them out to the rest of the crowd.
3 weeks and you weren't able to give a commentary. Yeah, I can see this now.
Oh my! I may as well check the tropics just a little bit first because it's beginning to make some news. So
It's
we'll,
getting
we'll do that.
it's getting
And
busy.
weather too. Nothing for us to worry about now as Hurricane Danielle continues moving from the central North Atlantic on a course that's taking it further from the U.S. every hour. With 80-mile-per-hour sustained winds, Danielle will likely increase in strength, but will quickly begin to weaken by midweek. The direction it's going is going to go, if it continues, it's going to go back towards Europe. That's where it's headed.
Goodbye.
I think it will die out before it gets there, but you never know. The waters out there are very warm.
Yes.
The disturbance that's been slowly inching its way northeast or northwestward from the southern tropical Atlantic is now a tropical depression named Earl.
Earl.
Earl Jones, what are you
Earl.
doing out there, boy?
Don't do that to Earl Jones.
Currently located north of Puerto Rico with estimated sustained winds of about 50 miles per hour, Earl is likely and hopefully going to turn first to the north, then continue towards the northeast later in the week, probably sometime around midweek. Earl should be turning enough to make it go northeastward and away from land masses.
Bye-bye, Earl.
Good riddance.
Just follow Danielle.
If the National Hurricane Center is right, Earl will become a hurricane over the next couple of days. It could have winds of at least 115 miles per hour by week's end. And hopefully those winds will just be stirring up the ocean and not doing anything to any land masses or ships at sea. The current thought is Earl will move away from the U.S. mainland, but it's always wise to keep our eyes on this one. Good morning. Who's this?
This is the Sage of Half Moon.
Hello, Sage. How you doing? Is that like Sage,
I'm-
Coach
I'm-
Sage?
I'm doing well. Happy Labor Day to you all.
Well, good
appreciate
morning,
it.
Vic.
Yes, ma'am.
And how are you celebrating Labor Day?
Calling us.
I'm going to sing y'all a song.
Oh, no.
My God, here we
Oh
go.
gosh, here we go.
Why
Go
are
ahead.
you so worried? I apologize to your listeners, but this is a wonderful song for Labor Day.
All right.
Okay?
Working in a coal
There
mine.
my gosh.
No, there once
Not
was a union maid who never was afraid of snakes or bugs or company thugs, and this is what she'd say. Did y'all ever learn that song in
Did
school?
not.
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
It was either before
Okay.
or after my time. Thank God.
It was no, nothing's before your time, Rayford.
Mhm.
But you can sing along in the chorus because this is what she'd say. Oh, you can't scare me. I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union. Come on, sing along.
No, I'm not really
Oh,
that
you
fond of
can't
unions.
scare me. I'm sticking to the union till the day I die.
So she's dead yet?
She'll live forever. She's part of the union.
Do you hear a dog howling anywhere?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I ain't got the greatest voice in the
No,
world.
you did great, Vic.
Thank you.
She's kinder than I am.
But
Vic.
yeah,
Listen, the labor unions in the beginning, they were there for a purpose, just as I pointed out. They
they're
formed
still
up.
here for a purpose.
Okay,
Yeah.
you like interrupting a lot, don't you?
No, I'm just correcting you.
In the beginning, they served a purpose, and that was to make sure that the workers in this country were provided a safe work environment at a reasonable work hours and working
Yes,
conditions
sir.
working
And a
conditions
reasonable wage.
at a reasonable wage. It was
Mhm.
all set out to be that way. Now, somehow the union thugs got involved. Now, you talked about thugs. The
Union thugs. Give me a break.
there were
Here we go.
union thugs. I mean, take a look at them. Have you ever been on the state ports? Have you ever watched any of the state ports activity? Where'd you go?
Hey, Vic. Vic, we can't hear you.
I don't know what happened to his phone.
It sounded like it might have dropped the call.
Well, it's still connected, but Vic, are you back? Well, hang up and give us a call back. I didn't.
Oh, there you go.
Victor, good morning.
I'm back.
I don't know what happened to you. Your call was still
I
connected.
don't know. I don't know either.
I
But
just-
you know,
you
the
just-
way your Mickey Mouse board is set up.
No, you
Hey,
faded into
Don't be
oblivion.
talking about this board.
Oh, I shall.
If it lets me run
But
it with
it-
no problems, then it's a good board.
Oh, okay, as long as you like it.
I like it.
But yeah, so I am familiar with the Longshoremen's Union
Okay.
and the problems they have had in the past.
Forget about.
And I'm familiar with the Teamsters Union
Yeah.
and the problems they have had in the past.
I'm not as familiar with
also
the Teamsters, but
I'm
go
also
ahead.
familiar with the Ladies Garment Workers Union and the incredible successes. I'm familiar with the United Mine Workers Union and their incredible successes. I am familiar with the Farm Workers Union and their incredible successes and the sufferings they have endured from the capitalists, from the industrialists. So they'll go talking about the thuggery and the gang connections in the unions compared to what the unions have suffered at the hands of their employers. Don't go there.
Have you been engaged or involved or covered a strike?
I have been engaged in strikes, yes.
Up close and
I have
personal.
never covered one for the media, no.
Up close and personal, where where some really shady things happen, even on picket lines.
I have had to cross a picket line once.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Well, you're a scab then, right?
No, I was not, because I was not taking jobs from any of the strikers.
Uh-huh.
I have no respect for scabs. I think they're one of the lowest forms of life, as is pointed out in that song I was singing. Okay? But, by the way, that song is by Woody Guthrie, if you've never heard it.
Oh, I've heard of him, yes. I never heard the song.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir, for your enlightenment.
No. I'm gonna get on your ass some more, Mr. Rayford.
Okay.
Hey, I've got a
Because-
question for you, Vic. You know so much about
Yes,
Labor
ma'am.
Day. Okay, what was the first state to pass a law recognizing Labor Day?
September 5, and it was done by Grover Cleveland, the 32nd president of the United States.
No, I'm
What
talking
state?
about what state. What state was the first to pass a law recognizing Labor Day?
That one I don't know.
Okay, Oregon. New York was
Good
first.
for them.
New York was was the first state to introduce the bill, and Oregon was the first state to pass it.
Nice. I enjoy that trivia. Thank you.
February 21st, 1887. Did they have unions
Ms.
in
Lee.
1887? Yes. Go ahead, Vic.
Have you ever been a union member?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Mr. Rayford, have you ever been a union member?
Absolutely not.
I've also been in management that had to deal with unions too.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Rayford, why were you never a union member?
Had no desire to be, had none in the activities that I was doing. The only exception to that was, let me finish, when I had to send a crew to Washington, D.C., I had to send a TV crew to Washington, D.C. That would be a photographer and a reporter, right? To be able to use 3 lights in an interview set up, they had to call the electricians union, and a guy had to come over, and we had to pay him to plug in the 3 lights to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good. That's specialized labor.
That's bull.
Mr. Rayford, the reason why you were never a member of a union is because you have worked in the state of North Carolina.
I've worked in other states too, but go ahead.
Yeah, but mostly in North Carolina.
Correct.
When you were in law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
you could not join a union. That is in the state constitution. You have no right to collective bargaining.
Correct.
Okay? When you were working for media in North Carolina, you could not join a union because you have the right to be fired law.
Yep.
Okay? So, no, and according to Oxfam, they released a survey last week. North Carolina ranks among the 5 worst states in the union to be a worker because of those antiquated capitalist laws.
Got a question for you, Vic.
Yes,
Why
sir.
are so many people moving here? If that's the problem, they move here to
Because
go to
they're
work
because
here.
they're
We've got to finish building
because
that
they're
wall.
retired.
No. There are workers that are moving here
It's a great place
to the
be.
great state of North Carolina to
right.
work. They enjoy
Oh yeah,
working here.
and what are they working in? IT,
Some of them, yes.
manufacturing lithium batteries, film industry,
Uh-huh. There are,
and
that's
tourism.
a very small percentage, by the way, in the film industry.
Yeah, but significant. And
Very small.
yeah, and then they move away again.
Mm-hmm.
But how about IT?
Up in the Triangle area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where the population growth is going. It's not coming here.
Oh, really?
Nope.
What about Wilmington? Its population is like doubled.
Yeah, and they're retirees mostly.
Well, many of them are retirees, but there are people working there in all sorts of industry.
Oh, sure, because Wilmington is a port city,
Uh-huh.
and it's got several things going for it in industry. Unfortunately, unionization is not one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of industry in Wilmington. I mean,
Yes, there is.
in New Hanover County. You've
Yes.
got you got Pfizer right just outside Wilmington. You've got the big forestry company, the pulpwood company. You've got Corning.
I've sailed up and down.
Hold
I've
on.
sailed up and down the Cape Fear. I know what industry is coming there.
You've got Corning with their fiber optics there. Okay, I know all
Right
about it.
next
Been
door.
there inside.
Yeah.
Then you've got General Electric.
Yeah.
Two parts of General Electric. One of them, the aircraft engine.
Doesn't alter the fact that unless North Carolina gets these antiquated laws off the books,
What
we will
antiquated
continue
laws?
to be a very, very bad
Right.
place to be a worker.
A whole lot of
Especially when we got guys like Rafer Brown come on the air just about every day and want to bash the workers of America who were getting so much money during the COVID pandemic that they were all sitting at home on their butts.
Vic, have you had
And
your
that's
coffee this
that's
morning?
what, according to Rafer Brown, caused the supply chain disaster.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Vic, go get you another cup of coffee. Just sit down and take a
Take this
big,
one,
deep
take
breath.
this one black. I want you to too. So don't water it
No,
down.
I'm only halfway through my first,
Oh,
and I'll
gosh.
need another one after.
You need to go. You need to.
Well, we're running up against the clock as
That's
usual.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Commercial time,
Have
Vic.
fun, you guys.
Thanks for
And
your
as
insight.
Woody
Enjoy your
Guthrie
day,
always-
Vic.
And as Woody Guthrie always said, thanks for the use of the hall.
That's what you always say.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to let you say thanks anymore. We're going to send you a bill.
Hey.
I'll pay what Doug pays.
Okay.
Doug pays us the
Bye
good
bye,
looks.
y'all.
All
Bye.
right, bye.
Let's take a quick break, do some weather. We'll be back on the other side because there's been
I
some
need coffee.
there's been some incidents over the last week or so, and I mean they just get really obnoxiously more and more tragic every day.
Yes, they do.
And it's heart-rendering, heartbreaking,
It is.
and it's pretty disgusting.
It's just so much going on out there.
So anyway, let's go ahead and take our break. You're live and local,
Okay.
Real Talk Freedom, 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, and we'll be right back. Someplace else I'm anxious to get down to see.
Where?
Tideline Marine.
Oh, yes.
I'm
I
gonna be
know.
there today.
You missed it.
I'm working on. I'm a laborer. I worked Labor Day. Yes, I enjoyed Labor Day, especially in the boating industry. Come on down today and see what Elise and George have in mind for Labor Day. If you're into flounder gigging, I can tell you one thing. Yeah, and I know Marine Fisheries they're playing havoc with flounder fishing and gigging. But when it's determined that the flounder fishery is back to normal, you'll be happy, right?
Right.
Well, right now, as a special for a limited and very limited time, Tideline has a 10-foot high quality gig. Some people call it a gig spear.
Yeah, I've gigged before.
Yeah, I have too. Gig. This is one of those metal things.
Right.
Metal pole, everything. Okay.
Yes.
I think it's got 5 prongs on it.
Yes.
Anyway.
Looks like a pitchfork.
Yeah, regularly $120, $99.99 today. Come on down. When you're coming home from boating after a boating expedition over the weekend or something, maybe you're a little tired. Maybe you're not checking all of the electronic equipment you have on your boat to make sure it's turned off. Maybe someone somehow turned the navigation lights on and you didn't even see them. When
How
it's
could
time,
you not see them?
well, during the daylight, they don't look
Oh,
very
okay.
bright.
All
Okay.
right. Daylight.
When it's time for your next trip and your battery doesn't have enough stored up electrical juice in it to bring your motor to life and you find out your battery is dead,
Uh-oh.
I'm going to ruin your good day on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for a limited time only, Tideline is offering those big old red battery switches that turn the power on and off, right?
Right.
You can get off your boat, turn it off, and it's on like a main switch. Everything
good.
goes dead. That's it. Normally $56.09 today, $49.99. Stop in at Tideline today. Ask for any other deals that the team is offering. Tideline Marine on the banks of the New River at 159 Old Bridge Street in downtown Jacksonville. Winds out of the east today, 5 to 10, seas 2 to 3, dominant period 5 seconds, sounds and rivers a light chop. Southerly winds tomorrow, 5 to 10, seas 2 to 3. Northwesterly winds on Wednesday around 10 knots, becoming northeasterly, seas 2 to 4 feet. We're waiting for the next hurricane tropical advisory. It comes out just before 8 o'clock.
Right.
So I'll check and we'll have that next hour. How's that?
Okay, today mostly sunny with a high near 87. Calm wind becoming southeast 5 to 8 miles per hour in the afternoon. Chance of rain is 20%. Low tonight around 72. Tuesday partly sunny with a high near 89. Southwest winds 3 to 7. Chance of thunderstorms is at 40%. Tuesday night low of 72 with a 50% chance of rain. And Wednesday mostly sunny with a high near 88.
Last week, while I was gone, it was a tragic situation here. Something we said
Yes.
was not going to happen. We're Onslow County. We don't need this kind
Yeah,
of
that's right. We would
BS.
never think it would happen here.
A lot has happened then. Was it Friday morning? I can't even remember. Thursday morning.
Thursday morning.
Yeah, Thursday morning. About 7 o'clock, a little fight, if you will,
Right.
occurred at Northside High School. One person, a student, was killed, stabbed to death. A second one was injured, stabbed.
Right.
The person police say did the stabbing is in custody. He's under what they call a juvenile petition because he's under 18. Juvenile petition is a little boy's warrant equivalent. And so they're still working on a motive. I know that they got a lot of information. I know the Jacksonville Police Department, their detectives have been working pretty much around the clock. They've interviewed a lot of people, got a lot of people probably to still interview, and working with the district attorney. Ernie Lee was in here last week too.
Yes, he was.
But working with District Attorney Lee, they're going to get to the bottom of what started all of this mess. And it's not necessarily what you thought, maybe a little bit more involved. So hold your comments on Facebook. You don't know. I don't know.
There's so much that we don't know. That's right.
There's more that you and I don't know than we know, than the whole conglomeration knows.
That's
okay?
right.
So chill out on Facebook.
Quit blaming the school. Quit
It's
blaming
not
the
the
school
school's fault.
board.
It's not the school board's fault. It's not the cops' fault.
Quit blaming parents. We don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened. I will tell you, there's going to be a little bit more to the story
Mm-hmm.
than has come out.
Quit blaming the district attorney. Quit blaming the
Yeah.
courts. Let's wait and get the full story.
Yeah. And then you can have your opinions. If you weren't there, you don't know crap.
That's
Let's
right.
just put it that way. How's that?
That's right. There's just
Just
and
think about the victims in this case.
that's
The
right.
parents of the one kid who's dead, the parents of the other child who was injured. Think about all of the other students who witnessed this.
Right.
What
How
happened, what it
horrendous.
went
Yeah.
down. That's just, think about them at this time.
And there's so much being said. I mean, we started getting messages around
I heard you
shortly
did.
after 8 here in the studio. And by 10 o'clock, you can go on social media, and the stuff that was being said was
They know
ridiculous.
nothing.
No.
Even if they were there, I'll tell you what, eyewitnesses are sometimes one of the worst witnesses you've ever seen
That's right.
because generally not two of them agree.
And because there are juveniles involved in this,
Yep.
there's a lot that can't be released.
That's right.
So we have to respect that, and we have to just like
Those are our laws.
hope and pray. And I will say though that from what I heard and from all accounts that our LEOs did an excellent job
Apparently.
responding to this.
Yep.
They had just been training for incidents like this summer
Yep.
and had seminars, so they were right on it. It
Yeah.
probably saved a lot of
There's no
maybe
doubt.
some other lives.
Could
We don't
be.
know.
And this could have been totally targeted. I don't
That's
know.
right.
We don't know yet. We
Yes.
don't know
We
what
don't
we
know.
don't know. So chill out.
I mean, people pulling kids out of schools and stuff now. Let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see.
Okay. So you've just sold a small portion of the stock you have in a company for more than $1 million, and you still got another $6.5 million in stocks in that same company.
Mm.
So you decide to go to the 18th floor of a New York skyscraper and jump to your death. What's wrong with this picture?
Yeah, something more to
What's
it.
going on here?
Yeah, that's a little
Gustavo
strange.
Armal, an executive vice president and the chief financial officer of Bed Bath & Beyond, did just that on Friday. Last Wednesday, Bed Bath & Beyond announced that it will cut about 20% of its workforce across corporate and supply chain and close 150 lower producing stores as part of a broader turnaround plan. Shares of the time tumbled more than 20%. But you're 52.
You're
You've
young.
got a cool $1 million on
Right.
hand already in cash
Mm-hmm.
and another $6 million in shares. It makes no sense what's going on in this country. Something's wrong.
Something is wrong.
I got more. Another one of those, what's wrong with people?
I know
Why
you-
are they so angry, so quick to resort to violence? In Concord, the one here in North Carolina, last Thursday night, 2 men were fighting over a parking space at a Walmart.
You can
One of
have
the
it.
men rammed the other, then sped away. Witnesses describe both the car and the driver, and he was arrested a short time later. Dead, 55-year-old Leon Philip Fortner. He's from Charlotte. The other man, Anthony Scott Amy, was jailed under $50,000 bond. He waived his right to a court-appointed lawyer and has a court date later this month. He's currently charged with felony hit and run. That's when you leave the scene of a wreck where someone is hurt or is killed. Charges could be escalated, of course, and so could the bond. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen there.
All over a parking space.
A stupid parking space.
A parking space. It's ridiculous.
A number of college students in Norfolk were wounded late Saturday night at an off-campus location. Happened about midnight. 5 were
Mhm.
treated for non-life-threatening injuries. 2 more had what medical folks said were life-threatening wounds. No report yet on what brought about the shooting, nor whether police have arrested anyone. Apparently, at about the same time, EMS units were dispatched to several different locations responding to gunshot victims. Here is something
World's crazy.
back in North Carolina. Again, we have more proof that the administration is out of touch with reality. 2 illegal aliens living in North Carolina were arrested last week, charged with murdering a Wake County deputy sheriff. ICE
Right.
confirmed.
Oh, yes.
ICE confirmed that it had issued immigration detainers for Alder Alfonso Marin Sotelo, 25, and Arturo Marin Sotelo, 29, who were both charged with murder. Additionally, the agency had issued a detainer for Rolando Marin Sotelo, 22. He's charged with illegal possession of a weapon. The deputy, Bird, was shot multiple times, found wearing protective gear. ICE confirmed that the Elder brothers had both entered the U.S. illegally on an unknown date at an unknown place that was not part of a port of entry, meaning they likely evaded Border Patrol agents. Arturo Marin Sotelo had been encountered by Border Patrol agents in Arizona in June of 2010 and had been deported to Mexico via voluntary return through Tucson. However, he later re-entered the country. Like you expected him not to do that? I said that Rolando Marin Sotelo, the younger brother, now faces the weapons charge, was encountered as an unoccupied child in 2019 and was issued a voluntary return to Arizona. However, he was encountered 2 months later by Border Patrol in Texas, released to the U.S. into the United States to run rapid via humanitarian parole. Thank you, Mr. Biden.
They probably just walked right in.
Dust off the needles, boys. And for goodness sakes, our legislators here in North Carolina need to bring enough pressure on our legal system to make North Carolina a place where bad people don't want to kill anyone, much less a lawman. Instead of electric cars, how about we fire up the electric chair? It would solve many more problems than electric cars will solve. ICE detainers or request that illegal immigrants in law enforcement custody be transferred to ICE when eventually released from custody. ICE issues them when they believe that someone is deportable. Now for the kicker on this story. Good old Wake County had declared itself what we know as a sanctuary county. That means that they only provide limited cooperation with ICE and similar federal agencies. With one of their own as a victim of illegal aliens, I wonder if any of those in charge want to rethink that decision. Senator Tom Tillis and Representative Ted Budd wrote Homeland Security last week wanting more details about the lack of action taken by the feds, specifically wanting to know if that lack of action contributed to the death of Deputy Byrd. The Border Patrol realists, the real people out there, they acknowledge that at least 500,000 illegal aliens have managed to avoid contact with their officers and are living somewhere in the United States. How many do you think here in Onslow, Carteret, Jones, Craven, Pender, and surrounding counties?
And this is what happens when you've been away for 3 weeks, folks.
And if you're
you've
still
not been able to talk about the news.
And if you're still blaming guns for the slaughters that are going on, move on up to Canada. At least 12 dead now, I think it is. 12 dead in a stabbing rampage this weekend.
That's right.
Another 15 injured in what police think was a series of random attacks at least 15 different locations across Saskatchewan. The two guys identified, 2 men, they're labeling as suspects, and a massive manhunt is underway. And guess what else? They've already got their pictures. They've got previous crimes. None here in North Carolina because I checked them. But they're criminals. They're already criminals in Canada. They were on the loose because they got their mugshots.
Random standing. Yeah, they were telling people, don't even go out of your house. It's just craziness.
Gun country.
Yes.
Hello, Tim. I'm through with it now, I think.
No, I don't mind. We haven't had a rant in 3 weeks. I mean,
no, we have not.
No, the hen house headliners have ranted.
The hen house headliners.
Yeah, I'm late. I got up early this morning, went to help a friend with a cow problem. We got it solved, and I couldn't come in here looking like I did. I went and took a bath.
Don't get what you look like, what you smell like.
Well, the smell was tough. Now, you don't think I didn't put plastic bags and all that stuff over the seats of my truck when I got in.
Sure.
But it's fine.
So how's the cow?
Cow and calf are great.
Oh, baby
just
calf.
Just a little problem.
Oh, yeah, it sometimes happens.
Oh, yeah. And I've been listening as soon as I got, when I got back in the truck.
We just had 15 minutes worth of rant.
Yeah.
I know he was just ready to bust at the seams.
Oh yeah, it's been killing him. He's been diving all week, going in that
We
dive.
keep sending
I could be talking about this. And
we keep sending him little stories of what was going on in Jacksonville, and he's like,
But you talking about Border Patrol? I have a great nephew that is a Border Patrol officer. And I don't get to talk to him much, and there's a whole lot he can't say, and that's fine. But he's on horse patrol, and
what's his number?
I know. He does horse patrol for about 4 months, and then he'll do Jeep patrol for a few months, and he'll do office, and then he don't tell me a whole lot because I don't get to talk to him much. But it's just a mess. And that's all he said. And he says there are things that I want to do that I can't do, and then our hands are tied and what have you. And there's some, and they've even talked about the little kids where they'll get together. The ones that they'll get together and they'll pool their money. The Border Patrol will buy them toys and buy them stuff like that. But yet the Border Patrol is so bad. It's amazing how
It
this
must
country
be.
is.
It's got to be frustrating to be a border patrol agent
Yeah.
too.
He loves
So
it. He speaks
frustrating.
fluent Spanish, and he loves it. He liked it better when Trump was in office,
Well, yeah, because you can't do your job. You can't enforce it.
but he loves it.
And to have that idiot press secretary,
Yeah.
they walking across
St.
the border.
Pierre.
Who's got any evidence of that? Well,
Yeah.
guess what? Every major network and every TV station in the country and
Yeah.
every border patrol agent, they got satellite
That's right.
images of them. They got
Drones.
surveillance
Yes,
cameras
right.
all over the place. They see them walking across the border. Are you blind, woman?
And
Or are you just stupid?
But see,
It's
some
one
of
or
the
the other,
borders
or maybe
being
it's
put
both.
up now. So by the federal government, some of the border walls being put up.
You do understand that it costs us more to do it now than
Oh,
it
yeah.
would have if they continue doing it.
I
Right?
mean, you got steel laying there. You got steel laying there. When Texas was, put up there, there was steel laying there.
Yep.
It's already paid for.
Yep.
Couldn't use it. It's still laying there. It's just laying right. No,
Send
you
it
can't
over to
use
us.
that.
We'll find a use for it. Won't we?
It'll lay right there until somebody gets in office.
Spill
and
some
says,
berms for the
we need
beach.
to-
I
need to put
still
that up.
agree. I still think that my plan from several years ago is the most viable plan. Forget the wall.
Yeah.
Forget about the wall. Done deal. Get over it.
Yeah.
Annex 1 mile, 2
Mm-hmm.
miles from the border inland along the entire border states.
Yeah.
And build military installations there. First of all, it's illegal to interfere, to get aboard, sneak aboard a base.
Mm-hmm.
That's an illegal offense.
Exactly.
You cannot trespass.
No.
If you want to try it going down here to Camp Lejeune, let me know how it works out.
Go
for you.
to the air station.
Yeah,
That's the toughest
yes.
place in Oslo County to get on, because let me tell you something. They raised the hood up, and what they are looking for, they're looking for bombs or anything like that. Also looking for people.
Yeah, of course.
Underneath the hood, and they check me so much, and it's just the guys will open up. The guys will open up the hood for me now. I go over there so much. There's so much going on these bases, and we go over a lot. We go there a lot. They're building parking garages. They tore down another hangar at the air station, and it needed it. And they're building another mega hangar on the air station.
Good.
They're building a whole lot more stuff. Dental clinic. I'll tell you what, the Marine, a guy wanting to join the Marine Corps, if he wants some good dental work, he's going to get it if he'll transfer to Camp Lejeune, because every corner's having a dental clinic now. I mean, I look at the computer to go look at West Dental Clinic. Well, there ain't 4 being built. Which one is it? So I have to look at the project number and man,
well, that's good.
Dental clinics.
Marines need good teeth.
Well, yeah,
they might have to bite somebody one day.
And our base is, and you're right, our base is closed. Our base is closed. You better not get. And I remember the day we used to run through Fort Bragg.
That was just a wide
open.
open
You don't do
highway.
that no more. When they did the 87 bypass, when they completed that, they closed Fort Bragg. And you just don't, because you used to go leave Fayetteville, go into Fort Bragg. When you got out of Fort Bragg, was it Spring Hope? Spring Hope. You come right into Spring Hope on 87 and 24, and you could go right on up. And we would go that way to get on 24. It was quicker to take 87 out of Regalwood and get on 421 in Sanford than it was to take 421 out of Wilmington and go to Greensboro.
Yeah.
That's the way we did it.
That's the way it used to be done.
Well, yeah. It's just.
Yeah. Better take a break.
Yep. Go right ahead.
All right. You're live at Local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. If you want to know anything about jackasses, not the 2-legged kind, I can help you out with that one. But the 4-legged kind, Tim's in the house, and he is the donkey man. You're live in Local Real Talk. Our number is 910-333-0139. We'll be right back. And we are back, and Timmy's in the house with us, the Donkey Man. If you got a
Yeah.
question for Timmy, give us a call,
Yeah.
910
Lessons.
Oh,
910-333-0139. Want to chat about something else? Go ahead, bring it on.
Yeah.
I'm primed.
I mean, Rayford's backed up now. It's got 3 weeks of no ranting. He's
know.
ready. I'm ready.
And I
So I
lost
wanna
4 more
Started off
pounds.
strong.
Huh?
And I lost 4 more
Did
pounds.
you
I
now?
did.
Well, diving would probably do it to you, hanging on, got them air tanks on your back, diving. And, swimming is one of the
Love
greatest
swimming.
exercises that there is. I
Mhm.
mean, my wife's daughter has told her many times.
Well, we don't do a lot of swimming. And even
Yeah,
when
but you dive.
here's the hardest. Our dives are not boat dives. We walk.
Oh,
We
okay.
put-
Okay.
We put about a 40-pound tank on our back, and depends upon how much weight you need, anywhere from 12 to, I think, one of our party had 20 pounds on.
Okay, gracious.
So to be able to go down.
Yeah.
When you walk around with that much stuff,
Yeah.
plus your fins, plus I walk around carrying my camera too,
Yeah.
and you walk down steps to get down to the water
Mm.
level, and then you walk out into the water deep enough so you can squat down and put your fins on. Phew. You've already had a
I'm
day's
tired
workout.
already.
And then you
tired.
got to come back and you got to walk up those stairs with all that stuff on.
Your cardiologist loves you for all
Yes.
that exercise. Oh yeah, Mr. Brown, you just keep that up. I can hear him now. Yes, sir.
I
Mr.
tried to
Brown.
get these guys to give me a prescription so I could write some of this stuff off.
Yeah.
Write me a
Ah.
prescription to go to Bonaire so I can do some
There
shore
you go.
diving. Hello,
Yes.
best exercise in the world.
It is. I mean, any kind of
My cardiologist,
Exercise is good.
my back whacker's going to like it too when he starts popping things this
Oh,
week.
yeah.
Ooh.
I know you've got to be sore, but
Dr. Sparks says, well, I'm not really sore. It's just all that
it's
arthritis
that
up there
tension,
too.
right? The
Right.
tension up and around the shoulders. Because
Mhm.
I got a little bit of arthritis in my left shoulder now. So,
Mm.
yes,
Welcome to
boy.
my world. Let me get you some Jackass juice. That's really good stuff.
Got one by the couch. Got one by the bedstand because I just about bathed in it.
Years
Oh.
ago, when Timmy first started calling here, right?
right.
Um,
I remember.
I said something about, my shoulders were hurting, my back was hurting, and my knees were hurting, and yada, yada, yada. So what do I get? I get a call from Timmy. He says, you know what? You need to take it and go down there to Tractor Supply and get you some Beagle oil.
Mhm.
Bagel oil.
Beagle oil.
Bagel
not
oil.
like-
Bagel oil.
It's
When
not,
it's
it's
bagel
not, it's
oil.
not like a dog beagle. It's a brand name.
Yeah.
Bigel
I've heard
oil.
some of them call it Bajal oil, but I
It's
said, well,
Beagle
no,
oil.
It's Beagle oil.
Anyway, I went down there. I got me a bottle of it. Came on. I used it. He called back a couple of days later. He says, how about that stuff? First time I've ever heard him go silent.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, it's okay. It seems to be working okay, I guess.
Now, do you drink it or you
Well,
rub
that's
it on your
that's,
skin?
that's what I told him. I said, it's okay, but it just tastes so
No.
bad. And all I heard was dead air on the other end.
no.
And then he started cackling. He says, you got me. You had me for a minute.
You did.
No, you don't drink that. You only drink it once.
Yeah. Ugh.
In fact, I just carried my neighbor about a month ago. He'll hit me up. He said, I'm getting a little low on that stuff. Yes, sir. And it's W.C. Jarman. He's my neighbor. and
W.C.
WC, good old WC.
He's like kind of like third daddy. I got dad, extra daddies, right? Him and Doodle, his brother, they just about raised me
Mhm.
all around there. So I'm just about getting out of that stuff. And I said, all right. And I got a little story about it. He called me up one day. He says, I went to my doctor, went to Dr. Shea, and he said, there's an ointment that he wants me to get. It's for nerve pain in his neck.
Oh.
He said, but it's $2,400 a tube.
Oh.
Go spend that $17.
He said, here's the active ingredient. And he gave it to me. And I said, well, see, that's what we call DMSO. We put it on horses, the active ingredient.
Mhm.
He said, okay. So
Bring me some.
I got him some.
$4.98.
Yeah, for a little tube. Yeah. I mean, and a little tube is $2,400, and you could buy a tub for $20.
Right.
So I
Wow.
brought him some. I said, you put this stuff on very, very lightly because it will burn you. And he carried some to Dr. Shason. He said, Dr. Shea read it. He said, well, you can't get this stuff. He said, you can go to Tractor Place or a feed store and buy it every day. So I guess Dr. Shea went and got him some. But it
Heck
helps with
yeah.
it helps with your nerve pain. It
I
really
know
does.
George over at Timeline, he gave me a tube of stuff, and
Yeah,
that
that's a
stuff
prescription stuff.
is better
Yep.
than what the leading brand is out on the
The
market.
Voltaren, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, it was great stuff.
It's got some of that in it, too.
This stuff D2, what is it?
DMSO.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
Just
DMSO.
It's
DMSO.
99% pure. That's why you have to use very, very little. But
Okay.
it's for nerve.
I remember those letters.
What's the name on it?
It's called
DMSO.
DMSO.
Is that how it's labeled at the
Yes,
store?
ma'am. The thing about it is pure, so you use
Potent.
very little.
Okay, let's
Sister,
take
if you're listening, we're going today.
Let's take a quick break. You're live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. And we are back, and we've been joined by another one of our really good friends here,
Yes.
my very special agent. You know,
Yes.
they used to have a program called My Special Martian, my favorite Martian. You're my favorite agent. How's that?
He's everybody's favorite agent. Everybody here.
John Legato, retired FBI, survivor of the Tet Offensive, Marine,
Book
how's that sound?
author.
And an author.
Yes. I love his books.
So do I.
How you doing?
How you
no.
doing?
I'm not even going to try. How y'all doing? Is that better?
No. You're regressing.
Yeah, you gotta go. You better go there and stay a while so you can get it. It don't
Yeah.
take long, but you will lose it if you come back down here. Especially if you talk with people like me. Because I'm so damn.
I know.
I'm
After
the country
talking,
kin to myself.
after talking to Tim for a while, I just like, how y'all doing?
Oh, I do it, and I do it a lot of times.
How you do it?
I do it. I mean, I'll call. We got these contractors that come from all over,
Mhm.
and we have got some that's kind of bipolar. I dealt with one over there in
Bipolar.
Stone Bay one time, and this guy was he was something. He had to have his finger on everything, which is fine.
Mhm.
So I learned when I go over there, when I got to Booker T, I hit the button and called him first before I called the subcontractor. Let him know I was coming. He told me what gate to go to, and that's the gate. And I'd call the subcon. I need you to come on. No, sir. You better get up with Dan, and Dan will tell you where I'm going to be. And the guy, it turned out to be a fantastic GC. I mean, great. He helped me out a lot
Mhm.
at the job site because it was a tough job site to go to. And I won't never forget, they sent another driver over there and he called a subcontractor and he pulled around to the wrong gate and Dan Terry left a message at my work. Now I wear a cowboy style hard hat. I'm the only one. And he
That's
called and
Never
he
seen one.
ranted and
Yeah.
raved
Never
and
seen-
all that stuff. And then he got done. He said, and that guy with the cowboy hat, he can come anytime he wants to.
Cowboy hard hat.
Yeah, I've worn for years. There's two styles to that. There's two. I call it the Marshall Dillon style, which is called the Vulcan style, and then you have the John Wayne style, which is called the Outlaw style, and you wear them.
Did you know that
gotta
Santa
get one.
was diagnosed with bipolar? He has,
Santa?
yeah, he has a workshop now in the South Pole too.
Good Lord have
I
mercy.
knew that was coming when just as soon as he said it.
I fell right into it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Don't apologize. I'm going to use it sometime or another. You can rest assured of that.
Oh, he will.
I'll save it for Christmas.
All right.
So, we're going to take a break, but I want to hear about this new book too. You got it ready to go?
Yes.
Okay.
You got one ready to go, right?
Ready to go. And a
think it was in-
documentary, which you are in.
What?
Yeah, I think you were in Florida last week signing books, weren't you?
No, I was in
Or 2 weeks
Washington.
ago?
I was
Yeah.
in San Diego about 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh no, you're
boy.
everywhere. I just remember seeing you were somewhere out of the state signing books.
Did you lose any luggage while you were gone?
No, I have backpacks. I just take everything on a backpack now.
Well, I carry a backpack. I carry a camera bag on the plane. Then I've got one dive thing that goes in the belly,
Yeah.
which I can't get that one. It's too heavy. And then another one filled full of everything else you got to have for 3 weeks.
Is that one of the bags that's lost?
The ones you got to
missing?
have everything else. It's just the
Yes.
clothes and stuff. It's
Yeah.
okay. I got the
Oh,
dive gear. The
okay,
rest of
good.
it'll be here sooner or
Phew-wee.
later.
No, you hope.
Shooey.
A few years ago, we took a cheap airlines down there. Had a real special going out of Charlotte. So it was so good we could drive to Charlotte, fly straight to Bonaire, right? On the way back, supposed to leave in the morning. Well, we left sometime in the afternoon. Well, got back to Charlotte, no luggage, none whatsoever. I called that airlines in Charlotte. They didn't answer the phone very much. I called Curacao, the airport in Curacao, so where the luggage was apparently. They said, well, it's here, but it'll be there. We're shipping it out there. And I said, I called back 2 days later. I said, we haven't seen it. Well, it's coming. It'll be there. And I said, can you tell me how long a live iguana will live without water? They got excited.
Just
You're live and
smell-
local real talk on Freedom 97.1 on 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and our guest in the studio, of course, is Tim, our donkey man, and Lee Barrows and I are here, and special guest just walked into the studio again. Again, John Legato.
Yeah. I want to hear
John,
about the book.
well known in the area. How long have you actually lived in Jacksonville now? I mean, forget about you traveling around here every week that you leave town.
I've been here 10 years
10?
in May. It was 10
Wow.
years. Yeah.
Time to have a housewarming.
Yeah. Of course, I was stationed here in 67 out at Geiger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that your first stop out of PI?
But yeah. You know, we rode on buses from PI, and I'll never forget it because I'm from Philly. And we stopped at a luncheonette or something. I get off the bus and I saw a sign, white only, for a water fountain or something.
Yeah.
Really?
And I'd never seen that in Philly, you know, because I lived in a black, white, and mixed neighborhood. So,
You must not have been in North Carolina because I've never seen it in North Carolina.
well, I think it was in South Carolina.
Probably in South Carolina.
It's
It was kind of common
Georgia.
Yeah. So I didn't know where to drink.
Drink out the dick.
Well, no, I'm Italian, you know.
there. You didn't know whether that meant you or not.
No, but you know, everybody's a person of color now.
Yeah, I know.
And it just blows my mind, you
Look at
know.
my color.
But anyway, so I'm just declaring myself a person of color that's transitioning,
Yeah.
and with a limp.
With
I want a civil service job again.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Tell us about this new book first.
I want to know.
Yeah, Sergeant Major Canley, Gunny Canley, was one of the most decorated Marines in Marine Corps history.
Mhm.
And I wrote a book called The Gunny, which was his exploits
Great book.
at
Mhm.
Way City.
Good book.
And he came to me and he said, John, he had cancer and he knew it.
Mhm.
I would like a book about my whole life, because the Gunny had 3 tours in Vietnam. He was
Three
basically
13-month tours.
3 13-month
Whew.
tours. So he basically was in Vietnam from 1965 through 1970.
Mhm.
And then his background, his father, they picked cotton in Arkansas. And when the Gunny was 13, he saw the movie Sands of Iwo Jima. And that stuck with him. He wanted to be John Wayne.
Mhm.
So his brother was L.J. Canley, and he was J.L. Canley on the birth certificate. So when he was 15, he went to his brother and said, give me your birth certificate.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he joined the Marine Corps at 15 and stayed almost 30 years. And but his life story is amazing. He gave me 30 years of his records, of his personnel folder.
Wow.
And he was so consistent with his fitness reports and everything, of being this squared away, soft spoken, competent Marine that was fearless.
Mhm.
And just an amazing person. I just went to his last week. I was in Arlington. They buried him there.
He had just recently passed away. How long's it been?
About a month.
Right.
Yeah. He called me up about 3-4 days before he passed, and he could barely talk. And he was at my house 15 days, about 2 months before that.
Mhm.
So the book is Canley, and it's just an amazing book, because I mixed the chapters of Canley with chapters about Vietnam, chapters about humor in combat, which I have like a chapter of humor, and I read it all the time just to laugh, because if you haven't been there, humor is a necessary ingredient in stressful situations. And there's all kinds of hilarious stories about people in combat, and wannabes, all the stolen valor stuff, and anyway.
A lot of that. It's a lot of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had dinner with Mike Langley. Mike Langley is the first African American 4-star Marine general, and
Yeah.
and he just got past the congressional thing. What a guy!
Yes.
That was not an affirmative action hire.
I mean, no, I don't know anything about him on a personal level. I was following him and saw that he was just got his 4th star, I think it was.
The only
Yes.
first. What a competent, and people say, you hear, that was an affirmative action. No, sir.
Right.
And General Langley is the real deal, and he's competent, and he reminded me very emotional, you know, in the sense of
Right.
he got all choked up about the gunny.
Wow.
Yeah, I had visions when I saw it, when I read the book. Just, I could see what was happening from your book. It's a whole lot like something else that I could see that you just completed.
No, are you talking about the documentary? Yeah.
Yes, The Last Muster.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. There are Marines listening to us right now.
Yeah.
And I will challenge any Marine listening that you know nothing about the 4th Marine Division in World War II. They're totally unknown. And these guys, they needed bodies in World War II, so they emptied the brigs.
Literally.
They emptied the brigs and said, you can go into the 4th Marine Division or finish your sentence. So you had this division of misfits. They go right from Lejeune to the West Coast and go right from the West Coast into battle. Never been done. They went right from training into a hostile situation to the Marshall Islands, and they kick butt in the Marshall Islands.
Oh.
2 weeks later, they go to Saipan, and there was 3 divisions of Japanese. They win in Saipan. About 3 weeks after that, they go to Tinian, which was another major battle, and they win there. They go back to Maui for about a month. They board ships. They get a muster on deck, and they say, we're going to this place called Iwo Jima. And the 4th and the 5th Marine Divisions went to Iwo Jima, and they were in 4 iconic battles, and no one knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And you started this documentary 2015.
Yeah, 2015.
God,
Yeah.
7 years in the making.
Well, it was my first documentary.
Well,
It
you know,
took
but, well, it was, I mean, you know, I read the script, the original script, the 2nd revision, the 3rd revision, the 4th revision. I think 17 revisions later, or
Yeah.
minor stuff. As I did the audio in it, folks. I recorded it. John asked me to do it, and I was absolutely, if I can help, I will. Loved it. And and I could see in your writing, I could visualize what I needed to say
And then
and
you
how
saw
I
it.
needed to say it.
Yeah, and then you saw it, didn't you?
And then I saw it, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
right on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let me tell you about Rayford. I was in a documentary called Against the Odds, The Marines at Way. And it was a big produced documentary. And they had, the narrator was Rob Lowe, who is a big actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out who I can get to narrate my documentary. And I'm watching documentaries all the time. And the voice. Then I remember your voice. I came in here and said, I have the narrator right here. You were wonderful. You were as good or better than any narrator
Thank
on
you.
a doc. No, I'm serious. I wouldn't say that.
Well, it was a project that I could sink my teeth into.
Yeah, it brought tears. That, you know, the most common remark I had from people that I showed it to, they got teary eyed.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So when is this documentary going to be available to the public?
Well, there's going to be a premiere here at June. I don't know, on the 21st of September at the theater on base.
Oh, we could do
But
that.
I don't know if it's open. I'll find out if it's
Right.
open to the public.
Right.
I mean, Rayford can
Well,
come.
yeah, Rayford and his staff,
The Rayfordette.
his driver,
Yeah.
the
hen house
hen house
chronicles.
the
I got a
headliners.
D-Biz card. I can get you on.
We have to
Yeah.
go deliver something, don't we, Tim?
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh,
You know, they marched 1,100 Marines in Against the Odds. It was amazing. You know,
Wow.
yeah. And we had Gunny Canley, we had
Mm.
General Smith, we had General Christmas, and the boys from Alpha Company, and that was a very emotional documentary too about.
Well, let's see.
It tickles me when I go on base, and every time I come up to sentries, or somebody's walking by, and I'm unloading a machine, or they're out marching. I always do it, and especially at the start of the sentry. The last thing I tell them when I get in the truck is, I appreciate you guys serving, when I go out, and especially when I go to Geiger, because they're working on Geiger, so you got to march the young Marines marching and doing what they have, and I step it up, guys. We're proud of you. And some of them give you the look like, "Hey, man, I appreciate it." Some of them give you the look like, "What in the heck are you talking about?" You know. And it tickles me the way, because I know, like, with your documentaries, you're educating people, and some of these guys really don't get it, and they're in the Marine Corps. But I said, that's all right; they will get it, eventually. But you see that all the time. And if you want some fun stuff, be over there at Geiger, and a bunch of Marines out there, and then some of these Navy guys start walking by. Oh boy. Oh, I just sit and watch. I said, "Yep, somebody's going to say something," and they do. But it's just comical. Yeah, they think they're great. They hadn't been through what we've been through. It's great.
What is it the Navy says? Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
But I love going on the bus.
The best time of day if you want to see with a civilian driving aboard the base is 0800, and they don't stop in a circle when the flag is raised.
Yeah.
You will be chased down.
Yeah.
You will be chewed out like you haven't seen before.
I have stopped right there at Courthouse Bay. Many morning I've been right there, and it starts. And I stop what I do.
It doesn't matter what you're doing, you better stop at 8 o'clock.
And the guys will be standing around, and every time I do that, when I get done, somebody will come by and say, "We appreciate that." And it makes it, because I do. I mean, I'm pro-military.
Right.
Do you remember what you said in the documentary, Rayford, about it's not the flag or the song, it's what's behind it. It's very touching.
Yeah.
What put to film, visual stuff.
Yeah, I recorded bits and pieces of that. I mean, you came in, we recorded you for bits and pieces of it. You and I both changed voices a couple of times.
It worked out great.
I was actually pleased.
Yeah.
I can't
And
wait.
I'm not pleased about much, but I was really pleased about this.
We did Lee Marvin. Lee Marvin, Academy Award actor, was in the 5th Division.
Yes.
And I interviewed his wife for about 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvin was that was his life. He's got a headstone at Arlington. All it says
Very
is
simple.
PFC Lee Marvin, United States Marine Corps. That's it.
So that's I actually saw him in LA in 1972. He was at a restaurant.
Yeah.
I didn't even go over to say hi or anything else. I don't chase stars, but I saw him there, and this brought back some memories from just watching him then and watching a bunch of the movies that he was in, and trying to mimic his little style.
Yeah, my wife's favorite is Paint Your Wagon. If it comes on, she stops what she's doing. And she loves Lee Marvin. She's a Clint Eastwood fan too.
I like Clint Eastwood.
She loves that movie, and I'm a Dirty Dozen
Right.
guy. I mean, and I'm
I'm a
one with
dirty,
him and
hairy
Chuck
guy.
Norris. But I love Paint Your Wagon, and I watched the documentary one time on it, and they showed where it was filmed, which it's all grown up and stuff. They had to clean everything back up like they had before they left. And Clint Eastwood said Lee Marvin stayed drunk through the whole thing. He said he sobered up one time and was trying to do his lines, and said Clint stopped, said, "You might need to go take a drink. Because you act bad drunk and you do something." And Lee says, "I'll be right back." But then he stopped. He said Lee Marvin really helped him out in his acting skills.
What about
So he was a pro.
reaction? I know you've shown it to some individuals. I think I saw a general reaction.
Well, I sent it to a bunch of military Marines.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Marines loved it, and they're not shy.
I haven't many that were.
I've sent them the first draft, and they would come back, "This sucks," and it was a rough draft. But when they saw the finished product, it was amazing. It was across the board. And General Smith, Etoole Smith, my platoon commander in Vietnam, does not give out any, and I forget the exact words, but "Good job, Gomer," or something like that.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the guys and see their reaction to it on the 21st, is it?
21st at
Okay.
10 a.m. at the Base Theater. And like I said, I guarantee you, even higher ranking Marines, majors and sergeant majors know nothing about the 4th Marine Division. And I didn't either. I'm not,
I didn't either.
Mm-mm.
nobody does. And at 4 Medal of Honor winners at the Marshals.
This where you started it out, of course, with the film starting, it was the last muster when they folded.
That's a good point we're not bringing out. It's called The Last Muster because they had this association of these World War II guys, and they met every year. And then they realized they were all in their early 90s,
Yeah.
and they're all past now. I tried to reach them. They're all gone now.
Yeah.
And so they said, we need to have one final meeting because we're not going to have more. There every year, less and less people were
Right.
coming. So they brought all their World War II memorabilia, captured samurai swords, and they turned them over to this generation of Marines. And there's such emotional things. There was a scene in there where these guys are all in. The first row was in wheelchairs, the second row was in walkers, and the Marine Corps band comes by playing the hymn. And to watch these guys in the wheelchairs trying to get up, it just, you look at that, and then they had their hands, and their hands were shaking,
just trying to do a salute.
trying to do a
yes.
salute. I mean, yeah.
If I'd seen any of that video
I've been
before I started
bawling.
recording it,
I've been bawling.
Yeah, well, that was the most common thing, but not bawling, but everybody, had tears. Not everybody, but that
How
was
can you not have tears?
the greatest generation. And and one of the things people don't realize, and this is another thing, German U-boats were right at the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
I dove on one of those German U-boats a few years ago, the U-352.
The people that lived there, their houses were shaken so much daily that they called it Torpedo Alley. And it was the southeast, so it was down this way too.
It was all the way down to Morehead City and beyond. But
I mean, every day they were sinking ships, cargo ships, supply ships. And younger men and Marines don't realize how close we came. Had Hitler decided not to attack Russia, he would have taken England, and England was ready to surrender.
Yeah.
And could we have won it if Hitler? I don't know. I mean, he had a peace truce with Russia. Had he kept that truce, this might be in Japanese or German right now, this interview.
My dad was in World War II in the Navy. Okay, my mom lived at near Wrightsville Beach. Anytime they had to go down or wanted to go down at nighttime just to tour the Strand and the Wrightsville Beach itself, their headlights were taped up. They had just a little sliver of headlight in it.
Yeah.
So they would not produce any light that the U-boats that are sitting offshore could use as silhouettes.
Yeah, no, people don't realize how close we
It
came
was
to
very
lose.
close.
Reagan said we're one generation away from losing our freedom.
Yeah.
And you hear those words, and I don't think that these younger generations,
They don't pick up on it.
They don't
get it.
process that how close we came.
I had the distinct honor of interviewing one of the survivors of that German U-boat, U-352, in 2004. He was back here, living in Canada. He was an interesting individual, Heinz Rector, and his entire story, which also involved a Coast Guard cutter, that's what took it down. The boat was patrolling May of 1942. They heard sounds from overhead. They came up to periscope depth, and there is a freighter going away from them. The newbie captain on board the boat, according to Mr. Richter was only 17 at the time. The newbie captain on board the boat, never been in combat. No, nothing. He took a reading distance from here to there, down periscope, set 2 depth charges for that distance. When the depth charges get to that distance and they either hit something or they stop and go down to the bottom. Well, what they heard was 2 depth charges not depth charges, torpedoes go off. They high-fived each other or whatever they did, came up to periscope depth. There was the Icarus. It was not a freighter. It was a Coast Guard cutter. just been retrofitted at New London with the latest anti-submarine fighting gear there was. And it started dropping depth charges. It put them on the bottom, ruptured their ballast. Another depth charge, the coasties didn't know it. Another depth charge goes off underneath, the bubble goes off underneath, sends that ship to the surface, and they all started getting out through the hatches, except for one idiot, he said. He went straight to a deck gun to start to shoot at this Coast Guard cutter.
Yeah.
Well, they stitched him right up front. The rest of them stayed in the water while their ship went down. The interesting part about it, Richter told me, he says, we were all huddled there together, 35 or so of them. Coast Guard cutter was not coming to pick them up. It was getting darker in the day. They found out later, cutter was calling Charleston, wanting permission to pick them up. Charleston said, I will get back to you, trying to reach the State Department. In lack of communications in May of 1942. Took a while. Finally, Charleston said, come on back to Charleston, and left them in the water. As the sun was setting, they saw that boat turn around. They finally got orders to pick them up.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Oh, yeah. I bet it was.
There's a lot of miscommunication in
Oh,
World
yeah,
War II. I mean,
absolutely.
Pearl Harbor is probably the best example of that.
Oh, yeah.
That was just the beginning. Yep. And it was the best example. Let's take a break here. Live and local, Real Talk. Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Hey, you want to see something good? Come on down to Tideline Marine today. Talk to Elise and George. They're the good ones. I'll be the bad guy. And find out what they got in store for Labor Day. I can tell you one thing. If you're into gigging flat when it gets around to being able to do it again, they got a special for you right now. Got a $120 gig, $100. Okay. If you need a battery switch to turn your battery off so that when you forget to turn your electronics off, forget to turn your lights off,
Yeah.
forget to do this, you want to go fishing a week later, and it goes whoop, whoop. That you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, everything. A
It's
kill switch
56
is the best thing. to have.
$56 battery switches. These are heavy duty now. Those big red ones, $50. Come on down. Stop in at Tideline today. Ask what are the deals that the team is offering. Jacksonville is the place for you to shop. Tideline Marine on the banks of the New River at 159 Old Bridge Street, right downtown. Easterly winds today, 5 to 10, 2 to 3 footers, dominant period 9 seconds. Sounds and rivers of light chops. Winds out of the south tomorrow, 5 to 10, again 2 to 3 footers. And on Wednesday, northwesterly winds around 10 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet.
And today, mostly sunny with a high near 87 with a 20% chance of rain, low tonight around 72. Tuesday, partly sunny with a high near 89 with a 40% chance of thunderstorms. Tuesday night, low at 72, 50% chance of rain. And Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high near 88.
Hurricane Danielle is out there way up in the north central Atlantic and it's heading away from us. Good riddance. It'll be probably a bigger storm before it fails, goes away. Should die out, or at least the winds drop down towards the end of the week, and is headed for Europe. So that's not going to happen. We know that. A little bit further south, a lot further south, just off the northern coast of Puerto Rico, we got something that's likely to become a hurricane by Wednesday, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, something like that. It's called Earl, our buddy Earl. It's a tropical storm, winds about 50, 60 miles per hour right now. They'll gain in strength and may get up to be a major hurricane by Wednesday or Thursday, but or Saturday, but then she's turning. He is turning. It's already turned towards the north instead of the west-northwest. That's good. It will continue going north for a day or two. And then according to the National Hurricane Center, we'll start bearing to its right, taking it towards the east, northeast. Goodbye. Good riddance. We don't
Bye-bye.
want you. How's that?
Don't want no more of that.
Yeah, I don't watch the weather after Florence. I don't watch it.
You like to be surprised?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no. You know, I got a podcast now. I want to plug my podcast.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
It's called the John Legato Show, and you can get it on YouTube or whatever. And
Mhm.
I deal with a variety. I have podcasts on the cancel culture, woke. I have them on stolen valor, which is amazing.
Mhm.
The cases, you know, I'm not talking about goofs that, you know, they got 100 medals on. I mean, I don't even consider that stolen valor because they're obvious. But there
And
are,
they generally have a little bit of a
yeah, and I meet them.
psychological issue.
Yeah, I'll meet them and I'll just humor them. I don't challenge them because it.
It does you no good.
But I'm telling you, I have cases of stolen valor. First of all, they look like Marines, and this one guy, he was a Marine Corps captain, but never was in. And what happened is, he would look at the when the battles were going on in Iraq, Afghanistan, the Marines would come back and put stuff on podcast, and he studied. He knew the lingo. He knew the battles, and
Oh, really?
he was so convincing for years. And that's the guy, you know, that you look at and you just want to strangle him, you know, because you know the guys I served with, we had, by the time we reached Way City, there was only about 80 of us. Half of us were dead or wounded. You know, when you look at that, we had no officers. The gunny took over. And then all these guys were wounded. We had only 7 guys that went into the city left unbloodied 31 days later. And when you look at these guys that never had a chance to walk their daughters down the aisle or something,
Mhm.
and these idiots are out there
Mm.
taking, you know, advantage or claiming and getting the, you know, the ones that do it every day are the ones, and the ones that are convincing. You just want to just strangle them. I don't know what else the emotion could be, and you know, shoot them, but you can't shoot them.
Yeah.
Can't strangle them either, John.
Well, a little bit.
Oh, you don't mean kill them. You just want to get their attention.
The greatest thing is if when you get them exposed, and you really get them exposed, they know. I mean, the damage is done, but the real guys look at them like, yeah, and that's the key to it to me.
The one we had around here a few years back,
Oh yeah,
the major, I think it was,
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a colonel.
the colonel,
Yeah.
somewhere up there, way above my rank.
Yeah.
So that one was, and he was too obvious. I'm not sure why he got away with it as long as he did.
You can't. First of all, you can check any metal. There's a database,
Mhm.
and you can check that. But also little clues like they wear their medals the wrong way, or
Yeah.
they have the insignia, or they have 3 campaign ribbons of this. You know what I mean?
They went to the surplus store and bought some stuff and
Yeah.
decorated a uniform.
But some are so good. There was this girl, young girl, pretty girl. She was so convincing. She became the commander of the VFW post. She worked at the VA and took an identity of a Marine. And for years, she was so convincing. I mean, she got jail time. But I have her on the podcast deals with a lot of law enforcement and this new phenomena called First Amendment auditors. If you know nothing about them, they take cameras out and curse at police.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the police they don't know what to do. They want to put bread on their table.
Yep.
They allow them. I can assure you, in my time in law enforcement. Yeah, and my father was a Philadelphia cop in the 50s and 60s.
That wouldn't whap.
Well, I mean, if you threw,
That worked.
I mean, if you, never mind.
It was a little wooden baton about that
Yes.
long,
Looked like a little baseball
called a
bat.
billy club.
Mhm.
Oh, they get downright. They insult their wives, and I mean, I can't. When you watch these First Amendment auditors, you get angry. I mean, you just get angry, but they're allowed to do it under the First Amendment.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, I keep saying you got the right to do anything up to the point that you interfere with my rights.
Agreed.
That's up for interpretation, though. Like, for example, what they do with police officers is they have a crime scene,
Mhm.
and
Oh.
they just walk right in the middle of the crime
Oh no,
scene.
no, not
I'm
mine.
Yeah, well,
Not
I know.
mine.
Well,
Oh no, not mine. Not back in the day, not mine.
it's 2022. Is it? Yeah, 2023.
I threw one of your boys out of the crime scene
Oh,
Yeah.
FBI agent.
during the Schrader investigation.
Oh.
He crawled across. I didn't know who he was. He
Right.
crawled across the tape
Yeah.
right behind the Piggly
Uh-oh.
Wiggly. Was it over there? A&P store in the
Uh-huh.
river. He crawled across the tape,
Crawled.
jumped across it, and he walked up there and he said, "No more pictures, no more pictures." I said, "Who are you? Who are you?"
Yeah, so are you.
And
are
he
you?
said, "Whoa,
Short
whoa, whoa,"
version.
and he got his badge out. He's got his ID out. Showed me his ID. I don't even think he had a badge at that time. Showed me his ID. And Special Agent Manco was outside the line, standing over there with my police chief, Clyde Cook.
Mm-mm.
And Cook looks over at the boy and he says, "Son, he works for me. And this is not your crime scene. This is his crime scene. I would strongly suggest if you don't want to be arrested by him, you come out here with me because he won't let me in there either."
Yeah, well, I mean, we respect that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this was a brand new guy. I don't think the ink was dry on his signature.
Yeah.
It was weird. Mango had a big time, having a good time, having a chat with him, the
Hmm.
agent.
Well, baby agents are dangerous.
Baby agents.
I've never heard that term, but
I
okay.
used to call them baby agents.
Baby
Oh,
agents.
that was cute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, all right. The Last Muster, your new book,
Called Canley.
Canley.
Not out yet. In the next month or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a book signing here.
Probably. I don't know.
Well, you please let us know, won't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
So, how many people can I
Definitely
bring
wanna
with
be
me
there.
on the 21st?
Oh boy,
His
let me
staff.
let me check your wife. Let me
Oh, yeah, I
check
know
with
that.
the sergeant major of the base. He's arranging it, but I'll get back to you. You can announce if it's open. You know?
Okay.
But I don't want to. It's not.
How about after that? What's going to happen?
I hadn't even thought about that, Rayford. I don't know. We should have something, certainly.
I think there should be something I'm talking about what's going to happen with the production. It's got to go further.
Oh, I'm talking with people.
Okay.
I'm talking. Hey, I'm
talking.
I'm
I'm
talking.
talking with
He's
the people.
talking with
I
people.
can't help it. I'm from every once in a while. I was like,
Talking.
give me some water. You got a cup of coffee.
He's talking.
Water.
My wife says you don't live in South Philly anymore.
Do
Coffee.
you still like a Philly cheese sandwich?
Oh, man.
Oh.
You can't
Can
get
Making me
it.
hungry.
I was fixing just asking me. I bet you can't get one here like you used to.
You bet you're right. You bet you're right. I
Yeah.
get them
Bet you're
shipped to
right.
me.
Oh
Oh,
man, the best one I ever had
Are they
was
hot
in
when-
Philly.
are they hot when they get here?
No.
Okay. I figured you might have access to a jet or something by now.
I know, but let me tell you a quick story.
Uh-oh.
Quick story. I'm flying to San Diego for the christening of the ship.
Mhm.
And so I got a ticket. First, it was like $1,500, right?
Ooh.
So General Smith, people probably know General Smith, he calls me and said, listen, he says, my company plane will pick you up and you're a pilot. And since we're flying from the East Coast to the West Coast,
You fly.
we need a co-pilot.
There you go.
All right. So the guy picks me up, great guy, former Marine. And I get in the co-pilot seat and I said, well, listen, a couple of things. I haven't flown in 25 years and I'm not current. You never lose your license,
Right.
but you could, I was not current. I didn't have a physical or check ride. And the third thing is when I did fly for 5 years for the FBI, I was not a good pilot.
You told him that.
Well,
That
it's
should have
true.
been
It
number
was-
one.
yeah,
I heard about that. You were not a good pilot.
That
not a
should have been number one.
No, but I told him, he said, okay, well, so he says, you talk to the radio. So which I could do that. You know, as you go into different air traffic,
Right,
yeah.
they pass you off. So I'm reminiscing from 25 years ago. And we're coming in to pick General Smith in Oklahoma, a little airport. Now this crazy guy, Sam Meeks, who's a multimillionaire. First of all, the plane was an 8-seat Cessna Citation turbojet with 2 engines. I've only flown Cessnas.
172s or something.
Well, 182 for the Bureau.
Okay.
We had, but you know, Cessna.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and so he says, you're a pilot. I said, well, you know, I'm not a good pilot. He says, land it. And I said, I ain't effing landing this thing. I don't, you know, and first it was an 8-seater. It was so big, you could do laps in it.
Mhm.
And he put his hands up in the air like a holdup victim, and he wasn't putting them back down on the controls. So I landed that thing. I mean, we bounced.
Cool.
We're bouncing down.
I love got the film on
We're gonna
that.
die.
We got out. I tried to strangle him, but he's gigantic, and you know. So, but anyway,
Wow.
One of the last photo things that I had to do for the state ports, it was last year, maybe early this year. And the pilot, he was an instructor. I had not flown with him before. So we finished a shoot downtown and around the state ports, headed back to the airport. He said, how'd you like to drive this thing down there? Do you know where the airport is? I said, yeah, I've flown in and out of that thing a few hundred times. So can you drive this thing? I said, sure. I had done that before, just going cross country for the other pilot who wanted to take a break. So I'm flying along, not a problem. I said, we're going to land on this end? He said, yeah. And I said, do you want to turn it around and line it up on the front? Okay. I waited, got it to the right spot, banked it around, came on around, lined it up right down the thing. He said, now, can I take it in? I said, well, now we're beyond my expertise. He said, no, I'm good. Why don't you take it in? And I said, I know nothing about flaps except they got to go down to something. The rest of it, wheel in, wheel out. So he put it where it was supposed to go. I didn't even bounce when I touched down.
I don't want to hear that.
I'm
I did not
feeling
bounce when I
anxiety.
touched down. He said, you're lying to me. You have flown before. I said, no, nothing more than what we've already done, but I've never landed before. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, how do you know about this? I said, well, I've been in a lot of planes, number one. And number two, I've got a 30-foot boat that weighs 5 tons and I can dock it and I can feel it.
Yeah.
He said, well, I've never done a boat, but I would imagine it's pretty much the same thing.
Well, the difference is that if the boat stops,
Gravity
Yeah.
is the bad thing.
landing is the hardest part of
That's
it.
what I
And
heard.
there's so many factors going on. You got to have the airspeed. You got to have sufficient airspeed,
Mhm.
otherwise you'll just flop. But you know, and you got to get the front wheel up. There's a whole bunch of stuff on
You
landing.
don't want to go
Shoo-wee.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Tim, are you feeling the anxiety?
that.
You know,
Let's take a,
I'm like,
I don't
"Whew."
like to fly anyway. Well, I said that I've never flown until I had to go pick up some trucks one time, and first thing that happened when I come out of Ellis Airport, a little Japanese girl, she had came in to see her boyfriend on the base, and she said she knew about 4 words of English. And I'm sitting back there at the tail, close to the tail section, and I'm looking, and that thing took off. And when it did, I grabbed the seats like I've never been in one.
white knuckle time.
And I hollered. The whole plane heard me. Whoo! I got to get me one of these, baby. And she's over there. Okay, and it's like I said, after that, man, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But when I went to Orlando, Florida, I had a couple sitting beside of me, and they flew a lot. And this was my second trip. And they said, we may have a little turbulence out of this. Now, let me tell you something. If that flight had been my first, it would have been my last. Because that thing done this, it done this, it done that. And I'm saying, and they're snoring. And I'm saying, this thing's going down. I know it's going. And then I realized we got below the clouds, and I'm looking. I says, why in the heck are we over the ocean? And I asked the flight attendant, why are we over the ocean? And I looked down and I said, is that Daytona? Well, yeah, we're going to bank right in just a minute. I said, well, we following I-4 now? Going to Orlando? Well, yeah, actually we are. We're going to kind of follow I-4. And when I got out of that, and I told them I come back and said, we need you to go to Columbus, Ohio and pick a truck up. I said, look, I'll go, but I need to be drunk. But now I went to Columbus, everything was fine. But now that trip to Orlando, no.
But one quick maybe when I was a student pilot, you got to go cross country.
Mm-hmm.
And I got lost, so I found Interstate 79, and I just took it. I flew directly over the road in the right lane. I was so afraid. I could find Youngstown through Interstate 79, and I took it right to Youngstown, but I had no idea where I was navigation-wise.
The biggest thing I learned about the mountains up in West Virginia, they're sideways compared to what I thought they were. When we flew up to Columbus, we went across there, and we were going up 77 part of the way, and it switched off. And I kept looking, and I thought the mountains was like this, and they're like this. They cut through them. That's how them roads were. They had cut through them, and I kept looking. That's crazy. And I asked somebody, oh, yeah, they're not like you think they are. I thought they went north and south. I said, no, this particular part, they go this way.
All right, we're going to have to take a break. We're running behind. Hold
Oh,
on.
I'm
You're
sorry.
live and local Real Talk. We'll be right back. We few, we band of brothers, for he who sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. The terror and triumphs of World War II have faded. Estimates are that 1,000 World War II veterans die every day. Our greatest generation is disappearing. In August of 2015, Marines of the 4th Division met for their final formation at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, is that real footage
Yes.
from on the battlefield?
You know, we had two guys just blah, blah, blah. No.
I
No,
mean,
but-
it's not taken from a movie. I mean, that's actual
Yeah,
It was
footage.
World War II footage.
Yeah,
yes.
what you
Right.
try to do is you first of all, you have an idea what you want to do, and then you have you find
Stock footage.
stock
and
footage, but
public footage.
you
and
you
everything
weave
else.
it in to the interviews with
Mhm.
these guys,
Yeah.
and they're telling you in their words what's
Just
going on,
amazing.
and you like they were on all four islands. They were hit with bonsai attacks,
Yeah.
and so you anyway.
Wow. It's amazing.
You're great, man.
Can't wait to see it
Yeah, it sounded good.
at the base theater.
I don't know, and I don't.
It's
We're
part of
both-
Rayford staff.
We're both tearing up already. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
great job on it, John. It really was. It's a wonderful job. You spent 7 years on this project.
Yeah, it was probably a year. Tells you how bad. It was my first documentary that I
Mhm.
shot. I wrote the script. I edited, and I had a great editor, a kid right out of
Brand
college.
new. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
did a
mean,
marvelous job.
he
I know
really-
editing. He did a great job.
He really did, and this kid, he can go places, because he can. But yeah, it was like the three of us. I mean, you never narrated before. I never
Oh,
did.
I have, but it was for commercial stuff for General Electric, believe it or not.
Yeah, you are the voice.
So that's what
Yes, he
I used to do
does.
all of the voice. I was the voice of GE Nuclear
Mhm.
for slideshows. Didn't have any video, but at least I could see what I was doing because I'd shot all the stills, so I knew what was going on.
Oh,
So you either shot or you shot blind. You spoke blind. That was,
I didn't know. I had no clue.
but you had
But
the
I
emotion.
know what you wrote, and I can visualize everything. Dirty Boys. Let me explain something to you. If you guys haven't got that book yet, go get it. Dirty Boys. My sister asked me, "Was this stuff real?" I said, "Well, yes and no. It's a compilation of likely, probably, and ha."
Oh yeah, there was a lot of. I would say, especially the Near Enemy was probably about 70%.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
and the scene choking the FBI agent choking his supervisor.
when did you do that? Choke your supervisor.
That happened, and it's such a long story, but never mind.
All right, let's take our final break. We'll be right
Need
back.
another
You're
show for that one.
Well, I don't know what the statute of limitations are.
Oh,
The FBI choking your supervisor.
It's a federal offense, so there is no
Yeah.
statute of limitation.
I
I do know that.
My boss said, "Don't do that again."
He probably won't.
That was I was
knew-
counseled.
I knew it was him. I knew it was
Be like
him. He
John
just
Hughes.
fessed up. You fell in for that one too easy.
Don't
Oh,
know.
I
the
was
man.
proud of it now.
Yeah,
You're
I
kidding
know.
me? Yeah.
You're live in Local Real Talk. Don't go away. We might be right back. Okay, we're back just for a minute or so here, and we, John and Tim, we do appreciate both of you gentlemen coming in. Labor Day, I mean,
That's why I was
it's a,
late.
it's a day to to look for labor, I guess, and we're here all laboring away. John, I did want to get you back in here to talk one day about just the FBI, the DOJ. I'd like to talk about that little place down there in Florida that they raided.
Yeah.
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 I'd like to hear your opinions on that.
Well, I mean, first of all, the Bureau now raids white collar people with tactical gear and tanks. This is unheard of. It's pure intimidation. I mean, I executed a lot of search warrants, and if we were executing a search warrant on drugs or murderers, you knock the door down.
Yeah.
But somebody like Roger Stone or something, you don't come in the middle of the night or the early morning, and you just
With fully automatic weapons and tanks.
One of my podcasts, I have where this soccer mom in Colorado, they busted her door down because she was attending school board meetings and being vocal.
Right.
And one agent dragged her 18-year-old daughter by her hoodie down the steps. And she's funny because they busted the door down with a battering ram and the door was open. They put her in hand. They never charged her.
Mm-hmm.
But
How much did that cost the federal government?
I don't
Yet.
think, I don't know. But that's the kind of stuff I have on my podcast. But the FBI is not my FBI anymore. I don't even recognize.
It's not a respected.
Still got some brick
organization.
agents there that are doing a great job, right?
Yeah. The brick agents. It's always the 7th floor. We used to call the headquarters the obstruction palace because if you wanted to get something done, they had to approve it, and they would never just approve it. They always felt they had to obstruct. So, and the problem is the people there now are not the experts. The subject matter experts are actually in the field.
Mhm.
So you can raise your hand and have 3 years in and become a supervisor.
Wow. Gentlemen, again, thank you. Thanks for what you have done, both of you.
Great seeing you both.
And what you continue to do. John,
I just play with asses all every day.
jackasses,
Yeah,
4-legged ones.
4-legged one.
He
Oh,
raises
God.
them. If you need something to get rid of the coyotes in your neighborhood, though, he'll loan you a jackass.
How about
You used to
alligators?
rent 'em.
Oh,
Alligators?
you got plenty of those.
I
know.
got bait for them, but
I paid for them. My dogs don't.
yeah, that dog makes one of
They
those.
make
favorites.
great gator gumbo. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they do.
Just saying. I know a guy.
But it's illegal.
You are live and local, Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be back in here tomorrow, baby.